The cause of the early settlement of the lower Mississippi Territory, the first place we put prisoners, because once we became a state, and even before that, we had to lock some bad guys up. So the first reported prison to house felons in this state was developed in Natchez, Mississippi, in 1789. The first centralized prison was later to be called the Walls, W-A-L-L-S, the Walls. It was not completed until 50 years later with the opening of the penitentiary in Jackson, April the 15th, 1840. The Walls, located on the present site of the new Capitol building, was developed at a cost of $75,000. Don't you wish you could do that today?
That's right.
Built with inmate labor and was capable of housing 200 inmates. And according to historical accounts, 28 prisoners were placed in the new prison on the opening day. And within that 20-year span, there was a shift to using prison labor to manufacture coarse cotton fabrics, bale rope, hemp, cotton bagging for mechanical trades. The Walls was experiencing overcrowding. An additional 40 acres of land near the prison was purchased, over 1,300 cords of wood harvested using inmate labor. But the prison fell prey to Sherman's Federal Army in May of 1863 as it swept across the south toward Atlanta. So that makes it the oldest, or one of the oldest, I think, prison. It is the oldest or one? One of the oldest? The oldest in the nation, or in the South, or in the state. So a little history for you there. So many things to talk about. Let's get started here. First of all, how's the smoking edict working out?
Oh, it's working out really well.
Is it?
It is. It's moving along, and it's working. And the prices are good now. There are no complaints. Nobody grumbling or growling. So we're doing well.
Well, you had some problem. How did you work out the prices deal?
We just said y'all too high. We got to come down. We got to be competitive. We got to be competitive with the street.
Yeah.
And so we found some cheaper cigarettes. So that was good.
Was it generic or name brand?
Well, it's generic. It's good though, and so they like it because you don't have to roll your own.
I know. Look, it was a gutsy call from you. It really was, because that opens you up to a lot of criticism. People, especially the anti-smoking groups and everything else, as far as what the medical situation is going to be there. But you got to be in the prison to understand what the gives and takes are.
Really, you do, and you have to give to them. You have to have something to take back, too.
Yeah.
So, like, we gave them lighters, but we put little deals outside electrically to light the cigarettes. So if they abuse the lighters and set something on fire, then zoom, the lighters
Never
are
thought
gone.
about
they
that,
give them back. So they give them back to me. I don't take them from them. They give them away.
What does it look like as far as you're constantly fighting contraband, and you've been in there now for several months? Are we gaining on that?
Oh, yeah, we've made tremendous strides. It's a lot safer. That's what's important. Yeah. That's why we're going to be able, I think, to hire the correctional officers we need. And the inmates are motivated. And so what we do is when I do Zoom calls with the dorm reps, I have dorm reps now, so I can talk directly into the prison. And I get about 200 letters a day, and I try to answer at least 25 handwritten notes back to them. And then we answer the rest of them, but I'll personally write notes back to the prison. That way I know what's going on in the prison directly from the prisoners.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm getting less letters, so apparently you're doing a good job.
That's a good thing. I'm getting more.
You're getting all my mail. I'm fine with that. That's good. One of the other things that was in the news in the last several days is it a church being built on
yes,
is that in Parchman?
We broke ground for the church, and it's a big church. It's not a little church.
Yeah.
It's 6,400 square feet. It'll seat about 300. And we broke ground. We're having trouble with our building to get the steel frame in for the building because of the coronavirus and all the stuff with steel. Mm-hmm. We wanted to dedicate it to Easter because the inmates are going to build it like ants. They're going to go fast. And they're excited, and we're excited. And the church is an island of freedom within the prison. It's God's house. It's not the state house. Mm-hmm. Not built with tax dollars, so that's good. And so it's really exciting. And that's only the first of 9. There's going to be 8 more.
8 more churches?
Yeah, it's got to have a lot of church.
At different locations?
Right. Now we'll have 3 at CMCF. There's 1 there now, 2 more. There'll be 2 more at south. and one on each yard. We want one on each yard.
Well, you already have the pastors. Where do the pastors usually, when they come, do they conduct services?
Well, the pastors that conduct the services are the prisoners themselves, who have graduated from the New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, so they're real pastors, but they're prisoners. And so we've learned already with the research that they learn better and respect better their own selves, their peers.
Are any of these lifers that they're not going to get out?
Yes, that's the one we want. Because we're going to spend a lot of money to get them with private dollars to get them to be preachers. We want to get a lot of bang for the buck. We've got to keep them around.
So in other words, any advancement is not going to be on the outside.
Right. If you're short term, you don't get to go to the seminary.
That is amazing. Is that working out pretty good?
Oh, yes, sir. I have research from Baylor already on parchment. Could we research everything we do? We want to know that for donors that give the money for this, they want to get, know they're getting the bang for the buck.
Give us an update on coronavirus. Where does it look now? Are we getting ahead of the situation in the prison systems?
We definitely are ahead, and we're ahead of all the other states with deaths. We're actually leading one of the very most successful prison systems in the country is Mississippi. Because simply one thing, and I got criticism for it, but we spent the money on prevention, not trying to see who had it so much. We tested, but we tested when we saw symptoms, but all our money went to prevention. Because it's here anyway.
Yeah.
So let's prevent it. We know it's here. And so we did that, and we did it, I think, more successfully probably than any other prisons.
So many other things that we have another legislative session here. You've worked with politicians for a long time. It's on. We're not even halfway through the sessions, but it's always trying to find more money and some bills that you have working the way through from your people. Any of those you want to mention as far as prison reform?
Well, the most important, well, they're all important, but one of them that's really important to us is the bill that increases the amount in our welfare fund that we can receive by $3 million. This bill is really important because that's going to buy the equipment, the simulators, and so forth to have reentry programs. It's passed already through the committee. It's going to make it through, I'm sure, and that's a really big deal to us. And so we've got several things that's going there. The other is we have a bill to establish our reentry court, and it's already moving through committee, and it's going to be successful, and that's what the $3 million is going to do. Support. Now,
tell me about a little bit. What is that about?
What reentry court is when the judge sentences you, if you meet the qualification, he will sentence you straight to parchment, straight to reentry court. You'll be a short-termer. You'll be 10 years or less. And when you get to parchment, you're going to have a whole bunch of inmates, going to be moral mentors and actually teachers, literacy teachers and so forth. You're going to live with them. You're going to learn a trade. You're going to become morally rehabilitated. And when you do, you're going to be released from prison. You won't have to do the 10 years. When you get prepared for the job, you're back on the street, and you're going to be successful. There'll be a probation parole officer that'll be watching you close, drug testing you often, and you'll be on the job.
But that's fast-tracked.
Fast track.
Now, is that mandatory 10 years, or is there parole possibility or good time included?
No, that's the deal. You get the 10 years, but as soon as you qualify and reach all these standards we have, then he'll parole you.
Okay.
So you could be out in 2 years.
I got you. So, in other words, if you go through that, it's almost a forgiveness program.
Right, and the recidivism rate on that is running about 5 to 6%.
Really?
It's that successful.
And this has been done. Did you do this at Angola?
I started it. We started it in Louisiana. So now it's spreading out all around through the country, but we brought it right here, and we're going to have the same success, already proven it works.
Let's talk about some of the other bills. Also, the efficiency move is something I know one of the other, we talk about where you can go and what you can do, but also there's always efficiency on your mind. What can we get rid of? What can we build on? We'll talk about that with the Commissioner of Corrections. It is Burl Cain. Kevin Blackwell, Senator of District 19, DeSoto County, Marshall Counties, Chairperson, Mississippi Medicaid Committee. We will talk to him about everything from Medicaid to medical marijuana. Robert St. John, 837. Good Commissioner Burl Cain. Man, so many things. Let's talk about the medical services there, too, because one of the things that when you came in, You just took a look at every single possible service there. What needed, what's not needed, what needs to be redone. And I know we talked about the medical services. Where's that now?
Well, you know, when we came in, the medical services had been named by the Justice Department as insufficient. So we changed medical providers to a new one, and we've just found out yesterday we saved $3.2 million on the cost for the AIDS drugs. And also, we've also are fully staffed. Before we weren't. We were burning about 50%, but we have all the doctors and nurses, everybody 100% ready to rock and roll.
Those contract employees, or are they full-time employees?
They're full-time employees, but they work for the medical company, and it's called, Corvatus. And anyway, they're 100% full, so we're doing really well there, so we provide an excellent service.
So $3.2 million savings?
Yes, right off the bat.
I need you to get a little bit closer to the mic before we wave off on the. How about food services? Because food services was another.
The food services, we saved $1.5 million because we're going to do it ourselves, and we'll have more food. They won't be hungry ever, and we'll have cookies. And so that's a big deal.
Now that's at $4.7 million savings there. We're getting close to being able to save to finance a rodeo.
Well, we're going to save $5 more million because if we fill up all our positions, we'll cut out the overtime. So put it at 9. So we're really trying to save money everywhere we can.
You when you look at the farming operation there, does that need to be retooled, redone, or was the schematic pretty good as it was? Or speak to about that a little bit.
Well, the one thing about the farm is we have to have more accountability for how we spend our money and what we do. And so we've already met with the Department of Agriculture and Commissioner of Agriculture and also with Mississippi State University to get them involved in the farm plan so we can have a really efficient farm.
It's amazing that wasn't done before.
Well, it's done now. So we're doing it, and we're going to look at our cattle operation, how to expand that as well. Cattle doesn't require as much overhead and cost to do these big tractors and farm equipment. So we can save some money there. But we are farming about 4,000 acres of soybeans now. So
the food service industry or the food service is saving money and full speed ahead. Where does some of that food in Parchman get to some of the other institutions in the state? It
does. We have a blueberry farm at South Mississippi, and we bring blueberries to the other prisons. But at Parchman, we're going to really expand our vegetable production, and so therefore we'll save money because we eat what we grow.
Yeah,
and that's going to save a lot.
How much land is being farmed there?
Well, it's 18,000 acres, so I think they probably have about 10,000 that's in agriculture.
Wow!
But we lease some of it out, and so that's something being evaluated as well.
The leasing,
right?
When was the last time that was negotiated?
Oh, they do it. I'm not sure at this point, but it's about 3 year leases. Yeah. Some get up, every year. Some or expire, so we'll be working on that too. The farm's going to get a real close look now.
Speak to me about, because you mentioned the Justice Department, and you're supposed to have a meeting with the Justice Department. When is that?
Right, I'm going to be interviewed on Wednesday this week, and
tomorrow.
And they're talking to some of our folks now. But the point is, we're just about to hire. One thing they're going to really bang us on is the lack of employees. But we just changed our pay scale effective the 1st of February, yesterday. We have a brand new pay plan. We're going to be canvassing the state we have 6 buses that'll be traveling 2 in the north, 2 in the south on Saturday. We'll be at the rodeo. We'll be there hiring people.
Hiring employment buses?
It's going to be an office bus where you can come up to the bus at the mall or at Walmart in the parking lot, and we're going to be trying to recruit you and hire you. And if you come to the bus, we'll hire you and say, okay, you're hired today.
Is there a picture of the bus that we could post on the website?
We will have a picture of it because I don't have the banners on it yet, but I have them Friday.
So we will know that they are a prison bus.
You will see the big banners. It's going to say MDOC. We got New Day, New Way, New MDOC.
Now there are going to be a lot of people who want to not walk toward a prison bus because they think it's going to go straight to the yard.
Yeah, but we're going to lure them with money. And so, really, we're going to be starting people off, and we don't even require a high school diploma.
What are we talking about on money now?
Well, I need your eyes and your muscles, so I don't have to have the high school diploma even, and so I'm going to be starting you at $30,300 with a net value of that at $46,000 for a correctional officer.
When you say net
wants.
value, is that with medical put in or what?
That's with health insurance, retirement, annual leave, Social Security, all the things we pay. It's really a pretty good package. But if you have a high school diploma and you have any experience, it's going to be $32,000 to start. And if you have a college degree, it'll be $33,650 with a college degree and some experience. So we're trying to really have a tiered pay plan so we can attract muscle and eyes, but intelligence as well.
How did you find that money since we haven't had a legislative session as far as appropriations?
Well,
concerned?
we have 1,500 positions, pins, but we only have 800 filled. So therefore, we're leaving a lot of money on the table. So let's grab our money that we haven't spent yet and run out here and start this new pay plan. Personnel board agreed and worked with us. The legislature, the governor's been phenomenal, and it helping us, and the lieutenant governor as well. But everybody's really helped us because nobody wants a consent decree. So, and I don't either. So we have great cooperation, but the employees now are going to be, and it applies to the current employees. They're getting raises too.
You think that's going to be the touchiest question tomorrow as far as the employees are concerned?
I know because I've been talking to the commissioner in Alabama, and he's telling me everything they did to him that we don't want them to do to us. So as he tells us, then we correct that part of it to keep them away from us.
Well, I'm a little curious of what are some of those consequences?
The consequences is they take you over, and they come in here and tell you, you're going to hire this, and you're going to pay this, and you're going to fix this, and you're going to fix that, and so that's why I'm going to air condition Parchment, and I'll get it to like 78 degrees. I won't get it to 72 like your house. But those things are what they want. Conditions of confinement are everything.
So they really don't ask you to go find out if the House or Senate can provide the appropriations. They just say do it.
They send in a consultant. He won't be as smart as us, but he's going to come tell us. And I'm kind of boasting there, but he's going to come tell us what it should be, and they're going to do it, make us do it.
The Commissioner of Mississippi Department of Corrections, Burl Cain, is Commissioner, is the new pay plan, is that only for security guards, or is that elsewhere too? It's
only for security correctional officers, but it goes from the bottom to the top. So that's important.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to really. I think we can hire them because we hired the 87 probation parole officers at this same range, and we were successful.
Here is the president. If you'll listen to this cut.
Today, I'm also issuing an executive order that will ultimately end the Justice Department's use of private prisons, an industry that houses pretrial detainees and federal prisoners.
So, does that affect us in any way?
No. Not really. It doesn't affect us too much at all, I wouldn't think, because there's a private prison over by Natchez, so I'm sure it'll close then, and that's where they keep INS prisoners, so that's what he's talking about.
That's the only one, and he said it was operated by or used by DOJ, and I'm not sure exactly what the involvement was there, but I just wanted to check with you.
And it probably will have an impact on Core Civic, because they're private and they're here. MTC is here, and they have some some federal prisoners.
Are you still looking at the possibility of deactivating some of Parchman, or is where's the status on that?
We plan on doing the air conditioning at 5 of the buildings, but we are gonna activate Unit 17 where the cell blocks are. We need single cells because we're still fighting gangs, and we need single cells for those people that are active and leading the gangs. So they're going to have to live in a different place.
Whatever happened to the Walnut deal?
The Walmart deal?
Not Walnut. Was it Walnut?
Walnut Grove?
Yeah, Walnut Grove.
It's there. It's coming along. We have a whole lot of new IT, from coronavirus and cameras that's having to be installed there. So that's kicking that can down the road a little further till we get it all installed.
Give me a final segment coming up. Can you do that?
Sure.
With the one and only Burl Cain, Commissioner of Mississippi Department of Corrections. Good to be Mississippi when you think about this. One opening quick shot quickly here. Oregon is decriminalizing possession of small user amount of hard drugs.
Wow.
This is at what point is somebody going to shake you and say this is not a good idea? All eyes of the country are on Oregon. So the new state law is now in effect. This is passed. It began on February the 1st. It decriminalizes a small user's amount of hard drugs like heroin, methamphetamine, LSD, OxyContin. If somebody's busted, they can either pay a $100 fine or have that fine waived by calling a peer support specialist to get a health screening and then find a treatment center. Funding for treatment options will be paid for through tax revenue from already legalized marijuana sales and money saved from making fewer drug-related arrests, is what they're saying. But are they being a little naive?
I think so. I think what is gateway drugs? You're already in the gate.
Yeah, you're past the gate. I mean, if you're
That's right.
if you're caught with some heroin, methamphetamine, LSD, or OxyContin, then you're going to be basically forgiven. Let's play nice, go to a treatment center, we'll take care of you. But how many times this has never worked out? It's like free syringes. It never works out.
No, it doesn't.
I know we talked to you about the last time when medical marijuana was on the topic here, but nothing new to report about that.
No, we still fight drugs in prison. And by the way, the name of our health care provider is Vitacor. I didn't say it correctly, but Vitacor. Yeah, it's a good sign. I didn't know who they were when we hired them.
Yeah, well,
I just knew they were good.
Yeah, if that question comes up with the Justice Department, you got that covered. So
that's right.
You can run this tape. Have Hal Lee run this tape back, and it'll be okay. Final thoughts here on something. Well, let's talk about the rodeo. Where's that stand?
Well, the rodeo will happen when the inmates behave well enough that we can
still
bring
not
them to
there
public.
yet.
But we're getting there,
Yeah.
and that's really cool. And we're getting a handle on the gangs. We have 2 more that's gone to Colorado. We have 1 more position for one at Florence, Colorado. That's where El Chapo is. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go live with him, keep being ahead of one of our gangs, and you go live with El Chapo.
So if you're identified as the gang leader, you might be traveling.
You will be traveling, and so we're going to keep on doing that. And we're working out a way to have more single cells so that we can keep them there, because we have to take them out of the population. We have to get rid of the gangs because they prey on the inmates and the public and everybody else.
Is that something that most of the prisoners would rather have as a single cell?
No, because it's okay for a while, but you got to be careful with that, because you can really run somebody almost crazy in there. You got to take them out and give them out an hour, exercise an hour, a day to get out of it.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of room, a lot of staff, but it's essential if you're going to be a predator, because you should go to prison and be safe.
Yeah.
Mom wants you safe, and we do too.
What's the size of that single cell?
It'd be 8 by 8.
8 by 8.
Right.
Toilet and laboratory.
It would be, and we have some, but most of ours are double cells. But if you use a private contractor, you have to pay for 2. But we would rather have, it doesn't matter if it's a double cell, it matters if you put 1 or 2 people in it.
What are the sizes of the double cells?
It's the same, because you have 2 bunk beds in the 8 by 8. So you can have a double cell. And that's 2 people, and if they don't get along, you have a problem.
During then again the gang situation plays into that too.
Right.
If you happen to put 2 people together that shouldn't be, but what's the temperature that it gets up to, let's say, in the heat of summer in Parchman?
Well, it was hot, as you know, but if you're in a single cell, and you will have a fan, so it keeps the air moving, but the Justice Department is going to say it's hot air. That's why we're going to go ahead and do the air conditioning to get rid of the hot air.
Are we any closer
air.
to that now?
Oh, yes. That process is in the process. It's going to cost about $600,000, and it's in the mill, and it has to go through its process of being purchased, getting the right.
What units are going to be done?
Well, right now we'll have 28, we'll have 29, we'll have 30, and let me see, not 17, but 26, I think. There'll be 5 of them that'll have air conditioning. And we'll have 5 kitchens. We're not going to keep having a single kitchen, because we transport drugs for the inmates when we move food from one kitchen to the other. So if we just cook it at the kitchen to where we're going to use it, then we don't move it for them.
You overload us with information all the time. We got enough material here to go for 3 months, but I want to invite you back anytime, as always. Good to see you, sir.
Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
The Commissioner of Mississippi Department of Corrections, Burl Cain, and we have the chairman, Senate Chairman of Medicaid Committee coming in next. It's Kevin Blackwell. Robert St. John joins us at 8:37. Let's get an update from Fox News and the new SuperTalk News.
Well, I'm sitting over here on Parchman Farm. Well, I'm sitting over here on Parchman Farm.